Hey guys, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to take this Glock 17. You can see it's missing some sights. We're going to install a set of high quality titanium sights on there today. I'm going to show you what those look like. We got our front sight right here, rear sight. And we're going to be installing those on this gun. I'm also going to be showing you a few tools that we use to make that happen. You got multiple options. We have a pretty inexpensive front sight tool for a 3/16 bolt. That's for the front sight. We're going to be using this rear aluminum punch for the rear sight. And aluminum's great, doesn't mar up any surface, keeps it protected. And then in the end, when we're done installing, we're going to tighten it up with a 1.5 millimeter hex wrench. Okay, so let's start. We're going to take our slide and slide it off the frame. We'll move our frame out of the way. Remove the spring. Drop the barrel out. Put those out of the way. Okay. So we're going to start with the front sight. Front sight's the most important. I'm going to line everything up to that front sight. It's got the 3/16 stainless steel bolt. You should be able to twist that off with your fingers. Set it off to the side. Now this is what's really important when you install this front sight, is you want to make sure that that boss goes in the hole nice and straight. It's going to have a little bit of a rock, as you can see, front to back. That's normal, it's good. There's not going to be any rock side to side. Just get it where it's level. You should be able to press it down with your finger. If you do run into an issue where your slide is a little bit tighter, you can always take a soft dead blow hammer like this one right here, or even lay a piece of wood on top and then strike it with a ball peen hammer. You can just give it a little bit of a tap, ensuring that it bottoms out on top of the slide. After we've installed it, you should check it, make sure it looks flush. Looks good. We're going to bring our front sight bolt back out. We use a product like this Loctite temporary thread locker right here, pretty inexpensive. Make sure you shake it up good. I want to guarantee that it's effective and can do its job. They recommend it, so who am I to argue with them? You don't need to saturate the entire bolt, and it's going to want to come out quickly. Just make sure that you get one drop on the threads. It's plenty. You may even find that you have to wipe a little bit off because too much came out. That's fine. There we go. Now we're going to take our front sight tool. We're going to make sure that this bolt goes in straight. Okay. Make sure it goes in straight. You don't want to have issues with this when you go to tighten up your front sight. You want to make sure that it's not wobbling around. Should go in nice and easy. Little resistance until you get it tight. So we bottomed out the screw. I'm going to make sure that the tool is flush, putting some pressure on it, and give it a nice, about a 1/16 of a turn, slightly less. Make sure that that bolt's torqued down. Now our front sight bolt is tight. Front sight's nice and tight. Got the thread locker on there. Let's make sure that it's straight. Here at Bar Height, we really like to ensure that our sights go on as straight as they possibly can, guaranteeing the highest level of accuracy that you can get. We've already built a lot of precision into these sights. The last bit of precision is going to come from the installation. The more time that you take here and the more care that you take, it's going to reward you when you're out shooting. So take your time. Okay. So what we're looking for is we want to make sure that that front sight is straight. Generally like to see it under 1/1000th of an inch. Slide it back and forth. I can see with this one right about 1.5 thou. That's not bad, but if you really want to have a tight group when you're out shooting, we will tighten that up a bit. We're going to flip this over. Again, using our dead blow, we're going to give it a little bit of a tap. Making sure that's nice and straight. So now we've ensured that our front sight is parallel to the center axis of the slide. So we make sure it's nice and level. We've done that. And once that's complete, it doesn't hurt to flip it back over, holding on to the front sight so it can't move. Get our front sight tool flush and give it that last snug down, torque down, ensuring that it's good and tight and will stay tight. Now we're finished using our front sight tool. We can begin on the rear sight. It's going to be the rear sight that we're installing today. You're going to see that the operator side has serrations. You want those serrations facing you, of course. Make sure that the slide is nice and clean. Same with the dovetail on the sight. Also, you want to be sure that the set screw is not protruding beneath the surface. You want that recessed so it doesn't hang up when you're going to install it on your slide. Should fall right in about halfway. You'll have to pound it in the rest of the way. The sight is designed to have a slight interference fit. That guarantees that it doesn't come loose and that it's being held on not only tight but straight. So you want to rest it on something solid. You can use an aluminum punch. That guarantees that you're not going to mar up your sight. Some guys like to use a press, like this guy right here. Either way works. If you don't have a press, just go with the punch. And the key is to be on a nice, clean, flat surface and something that's solid. It makes installing that rear sight so much easier. Also, you want to rotate your punch so that it goes in between the dovetail as it's going down. And we're just going to tap this to where it's nice and center. That looks good. Same thing we did with the front sight. Now we're going to ensure that the rear sight is in that same center line axis of the slide. And the way that we do that is we're going to make sure that our little window here in the back is lined up with the center of that front sight. I'm going to show you how we do that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to line up this rear sight. You're just looking to get the same value one side to the other. And this tells you that rear sight is centered to the slide. Once you've made sure that the rear sight is centered to the slide, you want to make sure that it's centered to the front sight. What we're going to check here is we're going to see, is the front sight directly centered to the slide, or is it offset to the left or right? And take note how much and which way. In this case, the front sight is directly centered. So we've already made it. We've already ensured that this rear sight is directly in line with the front sight, because this was centered to the slide, and this is truly centered to the slide, so we know that we're good. Had this been off left by 2/1000ths or 3/1000ths, or maybe to the right, we would have also moved the rear sight so that it's moving in the same direction, making sure that both of them are in a straight line. When you install the rear sight, if it goes in relatively easily, it wouldn't hurt to apply some extra pressure with the set screw provided in the rear sight. In our case, it went in, I'd say about medium, so we're only going to rotate this clockwise until it bottoms out and just give it a slight twist further. If this installed really easy for you, chances are that your dovetail width is quite a bit wider, then you'll want to apply a little bit more pressure with your set screw, maybe rotating it about a 1/16 of a turn. There we go. We like to ensure that our front and rear sight are in line to each other within about 1/1000ths, maybe 1/1000ths and a half. And this will give you great performance when you're out shooting. You'll be grouping much tighter than you normally would. Should be within about the size of a pinky, shooting out about 40 feet. So I'd say that's pretty good. Right. That concludes our installation for